A hike in the pass rate of students writing this year's English and Math CSEC exams, a significant donation to the Education Trust Fund triggers a call for greater support from the private sector, and budget provisions expected to breathe new life into the agriculture sector. I am Lourianne Graham-Carter with the Channel 5 News. Details coming up.
This is freedom, this is life, happiness is all I'm seeking. Carpe diem, I'm seizing every day, not just the weekend. Here's to all the good times that
when you can afford what you crave, life just gets so good.
I'm so alive and I'm feeling good, so good, so good, so good. Hey,
KFC, so good for everyone.
And don't waste time, eh? You know we deliver all over Dominica. The customer waiting for their product. All right?
Good afternoon. Delivery from Muslim store. Anybody home?
Whether you rent or you have your own home, the Muslim store is the place to get what you need. We deliver.
Introducing the Ashley collection at Quartz. Quartz has joined with Ashley Furniture, the #1 selling home furnishings brand in America, to bring you the most extraordinary furniture selection at unbeatable prices. It's now easier than ever before to find that perfect furniture piece for your home. And what's more, you can add that special touch with the right accent piece from our range of designer accessories from Ashley. Create the perfect look for your home with the Ashley collection at Quartz. Quartz, bringing value home. Visit the new Ashley Gallery at our Roseau store.
Here's a cool way to make some quick cash with the Dominica National Lottery. Simply go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Dominica National Lottery, and like our page. Fill out a simple form and that's it. Every week, one lucky fan will win $250. Yep, 250 big ones just for liking our page. How cool is that? So what are you waiting for? Hurry to facebook.com/Dominica National Lottery and start winning. Draw takes place every Friday.
let's be conscious and beware. The climate is changing everywhere. Let's promote more healthy lands to withstand the change at hand. Grow and plant a tree. Let's restore the forest. Be a lot more conservative with our farming practices. Keep our environment more clean and green. Put an end to all the polluting. For it is our natural beauty we promoting. Let us be resilience against the hurricanes. Stronger homes in our communities. Make a change. Let us be proactive. Rally, rethink, rally, respond, and oppose the pollution. Promote more water conservation. Whoa. Rally, rethink, rally, respond. Plants around the river banks. Sustain the water on the land. Yeah, yeah.
Climate change is real. Our actions do matter. Rally, rethink, respond. A message from the OECS and USAID.
You and your family need to make the right nutritional choices to get the maximum from life. Milk is the most nutritious beverage for both children and adults. Dutch Lady milk is full of nutrition. It's ideal for everyone in your family. Dutch Lady has protein for essential development and growth, calcium to build strong bones and teeth, and vitamins B2 for energy. Dutch Lady milk will give you maximum nutrition, and you can have it your way. Evaporated, powdered, flavored, straight, with cereal and fruits, it's all good. Dutch Lady milk gives you and your family the nutrition they need. At Estefans, right place, right price.
Cashwiz is the one-of-a-kind pawn shop in Dominica. We'll trade all your old and used appliances for cash, grant loans applicable to the value of your vehicle and other appliances. A community service-oriented organization actively involved in building communities and empowering the young while partnering with social groups for nation building. So come to Cashwiz Dominica on the corner of Stable Street and St. Johnson's Avenue, Pottersville, Roseau. Call us today at 440-5555. Check us out on Facebook or email dominica@cashwiz.com.
We begin with education. There's been an increase in the pass rate of students writing the English and Math CSEC exams this year.
Students' performance in English and Math has climbed when compared to last year.
1,368 students wrote CXC's Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate exams in 31 subjects. 793 of them came from schools, while 575 were private candidates.
In terms of English, we will observe that we stand at 70.9% pass rate. Again, by pass rate, we're talking about students who obtain grades 1, 2, and 3 in that subject. Although this number may seem small, 70.9%, but in actuality, we had more students obtaining grades 1, 2, and 3 because we had more students writing. So the percentage may be smaller, but more students are actually obtaining grades 1, 2, and 3.
Pass rate in math is 58.3%.
We have made a very big jump. In fact, over the last 4 years, we have been climbing that ladder, and we anticipate, based on the trend line, that we will continue to climb. Between last year and this year, we had an 8% increase in mathematics performance. So at 8% of our students are obtaining grades 1, 2, and 3 this year. And again, we had more students writing, so we have more students actually obtaining grade 1, 2, and 3. In 2012, we had a low of 27.9%, and now we are up to 58%. So this shows an increase of about 31% increase over the last 4 years.
Students also obtained 100% passes in theater arts and physical education. Pass rates of 90 to 99% were recorded in 8 subjects.
And these 8 subjects include agricultural science, clothing and textile, food and nutrition, home management, information technology, music, principles of business, and electronic data processing. Now, from these 8 subjects, if we were to look closely, we would see that we have 6 of those 8 subjects being TVET subjects, where students obtain, where we have 90 or more % of our students obtaining grades 1, 2, and 3.
Meantime, more top-performing students in the CSEC exams are preparing for another academic journey. Kyle Charles, who graduated valedictorian of the Dominica Grammar School this year, has planned to pursue post-secondary education at the Lead Institute. Charles follows Stephanie Pascal with 10 grade 1s and 1-3 on the Ministry of Education's list of 40 top students in the May to June exam.
A lot of support from not only my family, but the principal of my school and the teachers, not just through the time that they dedicated toward helping me, but also for their kind words. And also to some extent, the support of my peers, because they would organize things like study groups, and even for assisting them, I was assisting myself because it was like practice towards those topics.
Kyle, do you intend to study at the Dominica State College?
I am considering going to Lead Institute for my studies.
Okay, why that choice?
Well, it's a new school, but it's growing and it offers SCIP, so having the opportunity, I would want to experience it.
Kyle's father says they are elated to share his success with friends and the grammar school.
As parents, we feel very satisfied, a sense of completion, a sense of satisfaction.
Okay, you made a decision to have him study at the Lead Institute instead of the Dominica State College. Why that decision as a parent?
Well, we considered both options, of course, and we're looking at terms of continued studies. And we know with KIP, it provides greater avenues for Kyle in terms of if he wants to further his education elsewhere. And so we figure KIP can be a very rewarding start, and so we choose to go this way instead of the Dominica State College. It's just a preference, and not to say that the college is not good or anything like that. It's just a preference that we as a family took a decision that we prefer to go this route.
Of the 40 top-performing students, 17 came from the Convent High School. Francine Julius and Marisol John obtained the most grade 1s from CHS according to preliminary results. They both have 10 1s. Marisol says she intends on studying math biology and chemistry at the Dominica State College.
It was kind of a surprise because I never really expected myself to be on top, but now that I am here, I feel really happy. And even in my hardest and most difficult times, prayer was the only thing that could get me out of those times. To be honest, I actually wanted to do more, and I'm not exactly satisfied with the schools for limiting students to certain subjects. There are students who really want to do more subjects, but because the schools are limiting them, they are trying to stick with what they can do. But there are a lot more students who can do more than 10 or 12 subjects. And I wanted to do at least another 2 subjects because I felt that I could have handled it myself. But I'm still happy with what I have.
Marisol is the daughter of Chief Dental Officer Idaline John.
And all we had to do was just to give her the moral support and the encouragement and continue praying for her. As she said, she wanted to do 2 other subjects like French and literature. She wanted to do that, but it was clashing with her other subjects, the afternoon classes, and then that limited her. But we are still happy that at least she did her best and she got all 1, so thank God to that. Everything you have to put God first. You never leave him on prayers. As she said, prayer, we have always been praying, putting God first in everything that we do. So I think this is part of the major success that she had.
Matika John Pierre of the Northeast Comprehensive School also got 10 ones. The Education Trust Fund has received a $20,000 donation from a corporate citizen. The owner of Jay's Bookstore Limited has presented a check of $20,000 to the Education Minister on behalf of the Ministry of Education to help send needy children to school. The donation took place on Monday during a news conference to announce the country's performance in the CXC-CSEC exams.
One of the other reasons that we make this contribution is because I am the recipient of assistance to go to school from the Dominica JCs. And I dare say that had they not come to my assistance, I would definitely not have been able to attend school. Over the past 10 years or so, from 2006, we have contributed a total of $125,000 to the trust fund, and it is always a privilege to do that.
Management of Jay's has been making cash contributions to the Education Trust Fund since its inception in 1981.
We have never stopped because we believe that education is an important thing in the life of a child and in the life of a country. And we believe that each child should be given that opportunity. Our first contribution in 1981 was $50. And at the time, that was a substantial, sizable amount.
Mr. Peter St. Jacques commended management of Jay's and called on the business community to support the Education Trust Fund.
And more so, those who have benefited from interventions by the Education Trust Fund. From its inception, there are many individuals who are well positioned in society right now. I call on them to give back in a very tangible way to the trust fund.
On to agriculture now. All the equipment needed to operate the National Abattoir are in place and waiting to be tested.
The National Abattoir, which is more than 90% complete, is part of a $10 million pork and poultry project. Building an abattoir and increasing production of pork and chicken is just part of that project. The Minister for Agriculture says pig and poultry farmers have been preparing for 2 years. Farmers have received assistance to expand their holdings, including materials to house their animals and interest-free loans. Government is also investing in agriculture through the Agricultural Investment Unit, AIU program, which is a $3 million investment in credit to farmers and fishermen. Investments cover livestock, pork and poultry, crop production and fishing. A completed coffee processing plant at 1 mile forms part of the coffee expansion project. The next step is to power up the plant and test it.
With assistance from the government of Venezuela, 14 containers of coffee, valued at $4.2 million, we will be able to process and package 223,000 kilograms of coffee, which we expect to export to ALBA member countries.
And cocoa is also making a comeback. The Agriculture Minister says a number of farmers have returned to cocoa cultivation under a $1 million cocoa expansion project.
Acreage that were abandoned and overgrown by the forests have been pruned, rehabilitated, and properly managed for increased production. A new cocoa sweating and drying facility is under construction in Marigot. It will process wet cocoa beans for local consumption and for export. The first phase, estimated at $257,000, is to be completed by August 2015.
The Minister for Agriculture says government is breathing new life into the banana industry or banana production with plans of expanding that subsector. He outlined rehabilitation efforts using tissue culture plants, the fight against black sigatoka, and attention to feeder roads as forming part of that plan.
Work has started and is ongoing on the Salisbury-Cahome Road to address some of the most critical areas. The contract for the supervision of work for the rehabilitation of feeder roads was recently made available by the consultant, taking us one step closer in the EU process of road works. The current budget, $12.2 million, but the revised total cost is estimated at over $24.4 million.
Meanwhile, government has taken steps to address farmers' concerns as it relates to their access to affordable fertilizer.
Speaking at a recent post-budget town hall meeting in Salibia, the Prime Minister outlined the role of government and DEXA in addressing that problem. Mr. Skerritt also urged farmers to unite under one umbrella, which will advance their cause.
The government recognizing the challenge of fertilizer and access to fertilizer, what we did earlier this year was to take a cabinet decision on the advice of the Minister for Trade and the Minister of Agriculture to authorize DEXA to start importing fertilizer in Dominica. So the government gave DEXA some money, over $400,000, and they have procured or purchased fertilizer, which they have now on island for root crops, for tree crops, and it is being sold at a reduced rate as compared to what you find at other suppliers on the country. What we have also sought to do is to encourage the formation of farmer groups, farmer organizations. Yes, we have fair trade, but fair trade deals solely with banana production. But all of us should form part of the Farmers Association. I know we have one in Gannett River, that's correct, right? And some other places. But I would like a farmers organization for the whole of the constituency, so that it is easier for the Ministry of Agriculture and the government to interface with farmers.
The Prime Minister says dealing with farmers one at a time is impossible. He says a farmers' organization can receive cash to purchase fertilizer as a revolving fund or sell inputs to farmers at concessionary rates. This means Salibia farmers don't have to travel to Roseau to buy fertilizer. It will be much cheaper for Kalinago farmers in terms of price, accessibility, and transportation. Plans for a mini agricultural station on an 11-acre plot in the Kalinago territory would not only provide plants and seedlings, but technical support to farmers.
Coming up on the Channel 5 News, a season ticket discount could sweeten the deal for 500 Creole Festival patrons this year.
family traditions, don't you? The fun you have when you're all together, preparing a meal that you'll all enjoy. Having the right kitchen appliances help bring it all together, and you can find them at Quartz. Appliances that give you more, fridges that keep food fresher, stoves that cook meals better. At Quartz, you get the world's best brands at the best prices. I love that, and you will too. For small and large kitchen appliances, Quartz, bringing value home.
Nestled in the lush green flora of Layu Park is the Residence La Flebuste Hotel and Nightclub, just a 20-minute drive from the city. This 12-room air-conditioned hotel is equipped with modern technology. Its nightclub comes alive on the weekends with rhythms that gets you moving. Come enjoy tasty meals with French and Creole flavor and exotic drinks. Dive into the cool, refreshing lagoon of crystal clear water. Invite close friends to share in special moments of exchanging vows, renewing commitments, and celebrating memories. Residence La Flebuste Hotel and Nightclub. Our priority? It's you.
Ozone. Use Ozone. 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 Never done till the dirt is gone. Ozone.
If you love that sound, then pour yourself a Glen Hunter Scotch whiskey and enjoy the taste on the rocks or mixed with your favorite beverage. And because Glen Hunter is priced right, you'll be able to double your pleasure long after the people who don't drink Glen Hunter have to go home with empty pockets and empty-handed. Glen Hunter, a revolution in Scotch whiskey. Astor fans, right place, right price.
Something about this boy is troubling. The mother says ever since the brother's friend Ricardo started coming to the house, Kyle hasn't been the same. Kyle didn't even want me to touch him so that I could examine him. When I asked him about Ricardo, Kyle said he only took pictures to make Ricardo happy. But Kyle, what happens to him if there is abuse and he does not get the support he needs?
As medical professionals, you have the responsibility to report all suspected cases of child sexual abuse. Break the silence. You are right to tell. For further information on child abuse, call 266-3020 or 266-3080.
Here's a cool way to make some quick cash with the Dominica National Lottery. Simply go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Dominica National Lottery, and like our page. Fill out a simple form and that's it. Every week, one lucky fan will win $250. Yep, 250 big ones just for liking our page. How cool is that? So what are you waiting for? Hurry to facebook.com/Dominica National Lottery and start winning. Draw takes place every Friday.
Thanks for staying with us. 500 patrons of the World Creole Music Festival have the opportunity to buy their season tickets for just $200. CEO of the Discover Dominica Authority and chairman of the Dominica Festivals Committee, Colin Piper, made that announcement at a press conference on Tuesday.
In the month of August, and only in the month of August, we have a $200 special going for season tickets. You come in, you present your picture ID, you get a receipt, you hold on to that receipt, and after September 1, you come back and you exchange your receipt for your ticket. We have a quantity of 500 tickets for sale at the price of $200.
Meanwhile, this year's WCMF musical icon, Ophelia Marie, encouraged patrons to hold on to the music that represents Dominica.
And ask you to ask other people to hold on to what is ours. We are, and we contribute to the World Creole Music Festival and to the music that is ours. If we have the confidence to have the World Creole Music Festival is because our music represents something. Our music is the source, the resource that we use to draw people to our country.
The World Creole Music Festival is scheduled for October 30 to November 1. In other news, consultant psychiatrists at the Princess Margaret Hospital will address the issue of vagrancy for a public lecture on Thursday. Dr. Griffin Benjamin will present the 8th annual Bernard A. Sarando Memorial Lecture in association with the UWI Open Campus. Dr. Benjamin will speak on healthcare and the new frontier. Can people in the vagrant community overcome rejection?
Dr. Benjamin will be focusing on mental health care, particularly in the area of the vagrant community in Dominica. He'll also be talking about vagrant communities in other places in the Caribbean, but he'll zero in on the Dominican example, and he will look at practical solutions that we can use in Dominica and the rest of the Caribbean to counter the vagrancy issue. He will look at medical care as a whole, which includes mental health care and rehabilitation.
Joseph says the issue of physical health is more often discussed than that of mental health.
It is important for us to take care not only of our physical bodies, but our psychological self as well. And we cannot run away from that issue. And another thing that we must keep in mind is that the vagrants are with us. We hear the mayor talking about it. We hear the business people talking about it. We hear the tourism minister talking about it. Everybody's talking about it. So now it's time for us to get together and try to find practical ways to solve the issue. Not just from October to March during tourism season, but we need to take care of our people all the time.
Kimon Joseph says Dr. Benjamin's experience in working and addressing the vagrancy issue makes him the ideal person to address the topic.
But I do know that he's been thinking about it, researching it, and using these practical solutions in other islands where he has worked before, and they have been very successful. He has always been an advocate for helping vagrants and helping mentally challenged people. And he continues to let Dominicans know that mental health is part of their whole health and well-being. And so he really lives by his example and practices what he preaches and is that sort of social advocate for people who do need that kind of help. And so he has a wealth of research that he is going to share with the Dominican public.
The lecture is free and open to the public. It will take place at the Fort Young Hotel. Featured speaker of the Dominica State College graduation carded for Wednesday will be the guest lecturer at the 3rd annual DSC President's Lecture Series on Thursday. This year's lecture focuses on leaders of tomorrow, how new forms of learning can ignite the entrepreneurial flame. Guest speaker Dr. Laurel John Baptist is a Dominican based in Canada. She holds doctorate in education from the Ontario Institute for Studies in Education, University of Toronto.
Why this is so important for us at the Dominica State College is that we've made a decision. We've given ourselves a mandate that we want to seek out Dominican talent, Dominican scholars, Dominican success stories wherever they are abroad and even here if they're hiding here. And we want to give them that national audience, that opportunity to speak to their local people and let them know, let us know, discuss with us what they've been doing, what they've accomplished, what they are blazing the trail for across the world.
Riviere says the college has a vision to offer a range of topics every year. In 2013, they explored the arts with the topic Dominican Heroes. Last year, they delved into the sciences with climate change. This year's focus is on education and technology.
She's a co-founder of a company, Scholar Labs, also based in Canada, I believe. But I think that company is serving a clientele of over 1 million learners in 50 different countries across the world. She's extremely accomplished in her academic life as well as in terms of the business community. Very accomplished young lady. We are very pleased and proud that she accepted our invitation to come to speak to her local audience.
The lecture series will take place at the State College at 7 p.m. on Thursday. That's news. Dominica Football Association President Glenn Etienne wants footballers to have an early start to their careers. That and more in your sports highlights coming up.
The 2015 Netball Under-13 Festival is underway and Dominica's most senior girls are already making their mark. Action tipped off Monday in Portsmouth following a brief welcoming ceremony. Kernia John has this report.
On Monday at the Benjamin's Park, the sports coordinator, Mr. Trevor Schlinkford, welcomed the teams and encouraged players to play more netball. He also mentioned that the purpose of the tournament is for the early experience and exposure in the sport of netball. 2 matches followed the brief welcome ceremony at the Benjamin's Park. In match number 1, the Dominica Secondary Schools team defeated the Anguillan team 29 goals to 4. For the secondary schools team, Shamira Daniel had 34 attempts to score 20, while Amalia Tuse had 11 to score 9. For Anguilla, Nikeja Kati had 11 attempts to score 3, while Tiandra Edram had 5 attempts to score 1. In match number 2, the national team walked over the primary schools team, 26 goals to 5. The shooters for the national team, Esteline Telemark had 22 attempts to score 17, while Janelia Phillip had 12 to score 9. While the shooters for the primary schools team were Trenice Hamilton, she had 3 attempts to score 2, and Nelisa Antwine had 4 attempts to score 3.
Games continue through the week with Dominica's secondary and primary schools teams meeting each other on Tuesday, with Anguilla and Dominica national teams to follow right after. Dominica Football Association President Glenn Etienne is further highlighting the need for footballers to begin their career at younger ages or earlier in life. Dominica's under-17 girls teams leave the island Wednesday for the Caribbean Football Union under-17 girls qualifiers in St. Kitts.
For us to compete within the region or the world, that we have to develop our women, all footballers, at the early age. So that's why we have now signed off to this CFU Under-17 tournament, which is going to kick off in St. Kitts over the next few days. I'll come back to women's football in terms of development. We've launched a few of these girls' festivals. We did one in the Windsor Park Sports Stadium, we did one in Portsmouth, and we did one in Castlebrook. So all in all, we saw the need or the fit for developing this early women at an early age for football, because football development now is coming down to the grassroots, and we will do just that to make sure that our football, the trend, in other words, we know the players from a much younger age. We know the problems are, their difficulties in terms of skill, because we have the potential. But what happened in the past is when we do just before tournament, we would just maybe have a scrimmage and select a few players. That can't work again.
The 20-girl squad or 20-girl team is led by Kimberly Eli as captain and Michelin Morgan as vice.
Kiera Sayers, Celia Xavier, Kira Azu, Kayla Bellot, Rachel Serafin, Jada Sarah, Latisha Charles, Glendina George, Jada Seja, Brianna Antwine, Jane Bell, Naomi Defoe, Jarisha Paul, Latanya Charles, Eflin Lockhart, Tiana Hila Thomas, Naisha Joseph and Jenny Serafin. The technical team reads Wayne George, head coach, Augustus Griffith, assistant coach, Delroy Watt, fitness trainer, Florentine Lewis, manager, and Miriam George, medics personnel. Dominica will play its first game against Trinidad and Tobago on August 22nd at 5:30 p.m. with its second match against host country St. Kitts and Nevis on August 24th at 8 p.m. The girls' final match will be against British Virgin Islands on August 26th at 5:30 p.m.
Tarish United walked away with the Domlec Roseau Valley Football League trophy on the weekend. The Tarish team fought an even match against Shawford FC throughout, then came on top to cement their win with a 4-2 penalty shootout in their favor. In some cricket action, Barbados demolished Jamaica to raise the regional women's Super 50 tournament on Sunday. Kishonna Knight and Haley Matthews each knocked half-centuries at Cova, Trinidad to add to the 124-run defeat against the Reggae Girls. The Bajans posted 242 for 7 on the board in their innings, made light work of the Jamaican lineup to wrap up their tournament sweep. Bowling out their opponents for 118 in 40 overs, the Barbados girls also recorded an unbeaten season.
The fourth tropical depression of the hurricane season has developed in the Atlantic. It's something to monitor. Details in your weather report next.
The weather is brought to you by Sagicor, wise financial thinking for life.
Good evening, Dominica, and welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I'm your presenter, Marshall Alexander. We begin by taking a look at earlier infrared satellite imagery and what it showed. Some low-level clouds had moved across the region today, and this resulted in partly cloudy to cloudy skies across Dominica. Also, this area of convection, which is associated with a tropical wave, which is expected to affect mainly the southern portion of the region by Thursday. Also, off satellite in the central Atlantic, there is also the development of tropical depression number 4, which is moving westwards, and this developed this morning at about 11 a.m. This system is forecasted to be just east of the islands as a hurricane by late weekend, and residents in Dominica are advised to monitor the progress of this system. Now, taking a look at earlier radar imagery and what it indicated, scattered showers mainly across the northern portion of the region. Tonight's weather is expected to be partly cloudy with a few brief scattered showers, with similar conditions expected into tomorrow. Sea conditions are expected to be slight to moderate, with waves peaking near 7 feet. Conditions for the next 3 days: partly cloudy skies with scattered showers expected tomorrow. However, as we move into Thursday, an increasing cloudiness with scattered showers can be expected due to the passage of a tropical wave, with a gradual improvement expected by Friday. Looking at the bigger picture, partly cloudy skies with scattered showers expected across the central and northern portion of the region, with an increasing cloudiness and scattered showers expected across the extreme southern portion of the island chain. Our international cities forecast: partly cloudy skies can be expected in New York and Caracas, some thunderstorm activity expected in Miami, cloudy conditions with showers expected in London, and clear skies can be expected in Beijing. Sunrise tomorrow will be at 5:51 a.m. and sunset will be at 6:27 p.m. Please remember that we are in the hurricane season. For updated information on weather conditions, you can call the weather hotline at 447-5555 or visit our website at weather.gov.dm. Thanks for viewing. Have a good night.
Look, Mommy.
Perfect. When you've been here, you know what's important. Protect it with Sagicor. Wise financial thinking for life.
The headlines again: a hike in the pass rate of students writing this year's English and Math CSEC exams. A significant donation to the Education Trust Fund triggers a call for greater support from the private sector, and budget provisions expected to breathe new life into the agriculture sector. Send your questions and comments to news@marpin2k4.com. On behalf of the production team, I am Lourianne Graham Carter. Thank you for watching.